Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the podcast dedicated to helping you unlock your full potential through the power of mindset. Join Dr. Alisa White, a transformative creator and multi-award-winning trailblazer, as she guides you on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. With a background in corporate leadership and workforce development, Dr. Alisa has dedicated her career to inspiring individuals to achieve their goals and dreams. Known as the #1 mindset disruptor, she firmly believes that the key to success lies within the mind. Dr. White has witnessed the incredible impact a shift in mindset can have on one's life, career, and relationships. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just beginning your journey of self-discovery, you'll find valuable lessons, inspiring stories, and practical tools to elevate your life. In each episode, Dr. Alisa engages with thought leaders, coaches, and changemakers from around the globe, exploring their journeys and the mindsets that have propelled them to success. Get ready to reframe your perspective, embrace challenges, and cultivate the mindset necessary to achieve your dreams. Now let's dive into today's episode and discover how to master your mindset for a brighter, more fulfilling future.
Hey, disruptors, and thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of my insightful conversation with the one and only Miss Nicole Jansen. This episode, we're talking about resilience, self-worth, and growth. And we're definitely going to dive into how self-love and resilience go hand in hand and how embracing adversity can lead to personal breakthroughs. So let's get buckled in, share this episode with someone, and come back and listen to it all over again as you fall in love with yourself unconditionally, as you develop empathetic leadership relationships with the ones you serve in diversity. We are going to have a great challenge for you, and don't forget to tune in to learn more about Nicole and the freebie that she offers to you leaders and those who are aspiring to lead. I'll see you on the inside. Let's go.
What does that mean? So if you're playing a game of, I don't know, football, right? Mm-hmm. And you got what? You got players, you got goalposts, you got boundaries, you got coaches, you got all this stuff going on. But if you think you're playing football, American football, and I'm playing Canadian football, there's going to be frustration.
Yes, there will be.
Right. If you're playing football and I'm playing soccer, there's a problem. And a lot of times in organizations, it's not just 2 sports. There's 50 different sports going on. There's 150, 250, all because we're all bringing in our strengths, our passion, like our personality, our life experience. We're bringing all of that to the table. Mm-hmm. And you got to get people, on the same page.
Yeah.
So having a conversation about, what do we agree to? This is the way we play this game.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was buying a franchise from Blair, he, even before I bought the franchise, he said, and it was a business coaching franchise back in 2007. I'm having this conversation with him, and he said, you know what, Nicole, we'd done the assessments, 360s and all the things, flipping and Profiles International,
yes.
And hours of assessments. You are incredibly qualified and a perfect match.
Oh, wow.
Here's the code of honor, though. And no matter how good that was, that I was, they were thrilled for what I brought to the table. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. They gave me a code of honor and they said, here are 10, 12 things. This is how we play this game. And if you are willing to play by these rules, then we'd love to have you on the team. And if not, that's totally fine. It's just not probably the right team for you. And if you think about it, when you go look at the Marines, you look at a football, I don't know why, like football, tennis, you look at anything, even in relationships. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm looking for, right? In this relationship, you got to come to some agreement and say, this is how we agree to play the game.
Yeah. Right.
So when you do that, what happens is people, there's a chance that somebody's going to say no.
Right. That's okay.
And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just not the right team for them.
Right.
And we need to apply that in our work environment. So when you're recruiting people, that you're not just looking for competence. We say culture. We're looking for culture.
Right. That's the
What
newest
does that
talk.
mean?
Right.
Right. What does that actually mean? What
It
is
means
your
you have
culture?
to fit in.
Yeah, we're going to fit into what? What am I fitting into?
Something that they haven't defined.
Which they haven't defined. So when you create that though, and you define it for them, there are high performing teams. I love, Blair has used this example. He's like, look, if you don't like shooting a gun, don't join the Marines. Like, I mean, right? So
exactly.
If you don't want to play at this level, then don't join this team. I'm not going to put you in a position where I'm going to try to change you. You got to choose that this is what you want.
Right.
And then we'll support you in that. Now,
exactly.
In that, one of the things that's also important is what is in that. So one of the things, and I have this for my business, I have this in when I work with organizations, this oftentimes ends up on the list is, for example, mission first, team second, individual third. Wow. You need to make decisions and prioritize what's important, because when you get those out of order and you put an individual first, then the mission doesn't get served, the team won't get served. It's just an individual. So mission, team, individual. And all these codes of honor are going to be different based on what the culture is and so forth. But there's some similarities that I've found. Another one that is really important is never abandon a teammate in need. Ooh, most people will come and say, it's not my job. Too bad for you. Right.
Oh my God.
And we don't support each other. Right?
Yes.
No gossiping, no backbiting and the blaming. Take responsibility. We talk about take responsibility. Honor your agreements. Right. Honor your agreements. And if you know that you're not going to be able to honor an agreement,
don't even bother.
Let the person know. Right. At the first opportunity, so that you can and renegotiate.
Renegotiate those.
And so we are going to have well-intentioned, things that it's going to happen. But here's the thing is that when and this comes back to even our own identity and confidence in ourselves, is that when we say something, to just on that point, when we say we're going to do something and we don't do it, we're going to break trust with the other, the people. We're going to get known that we're unreliable.
Right.
But more importantly, or worse than that, I should say, we're going to know.
It's self-confidence.
We're going to know in ourselves. And I've had people come to me and saying, I don't have the self-confidence. And I say, well, first of all, we can talk about all the behaviors, right?
Yeah.
But question is how often do you do what you say you're going to do? I'm going to go to the gym today. Well, not today because and then you go tomorrow.
Yes.
You say to somebody, this is Dr. Alisa, we had such a fun time. Oh my gosh, we should do lunch sometime. Oh, absolutely. In your mind, you're going, no way.
I never want to see her again.
Right.
Yeah, that is that inauthenticity.
That deep down inside.
Yeah.
In your heart, in your mind, that you're not going to do that, but you say it anyway. You are breaking trust with yourself. And then when it really comes to be important, for example, like where you're going to set a goal or do something, your subconscious mind is going, liar. No, you're not. You're not going to do that. Yeah. That is why New Year's resolutions don't work. Is because most people, I've had leaders in organizations say, I hate goal setting. And I said, why? So I hate goal setting because I never reach them. And it's like, well, that's the problem. You don't keep your commitments to yourself or renegotiate those commitments.
Commit to goals that you don't want to achieve
or that you don't want to, that aren't meaningful to you. And you wonder, there's this vicious cycle. And now you're afraid to set goals at all.
Yeah.
Right. And so then you use generic terms, and I believe in visioning and so forth.
Goal setting is just a cliche.
Yeah. We just, we vision cast. Okay. Yeah. And you might want to, like, what's the date? What's the time? What's the specific SMART goals and all that stuff? and so, but then you're going to be afraid to do that because deep down inside, you can't be sure that you're actually not only going to achieve it. Forget that. You can't be sure that you're going to do what it takes to even get there.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem. So when you're talking about high performing teams, they're really these fundamentals, mindset, identity, beliefs that we have about ourselves, how we're showing up, how are we showing up, our integrity with ourselves. You want to have a strong team, a high performing team, integrity is essential. I'm not even talking, although that is important, talking about legally doing things right. Obviously, you got to do that. But I'm talking about like integrity with yourself. Yeah. Integrity with your word. Your word is your worth. Your worth is your word. And when we start doing that, and we start speaking into other people's lives with encouragement, I'll add that on, is that speaking life, encouraging, supporting each other, right? Rather than tearing people down, building people up. Then when you know what, here's the amazing thing is when you get into difficult situations, when the pressure is on, your team is more likely to stand together, to hold together because they have bonds. You know, I love this example of like there's content and context, right? Ooh. So if you have a cup like this, and let's say this is styrofoam. Yeah. Okay. This is the context. This is the content. So you have styrofoam cup. You put the world's best water, right? Best water in there, or the finest whatever wine in there. Mm-hmm. But it's a styrofoam cup, and there's heat applied underneath, pressure, economic downturns, stress in the market, competitive market, whatever it is, right? Conflicts, whatever it is. When you put heat underneath that, doesn't matter how good your content doesn't matter how good your products and services are, doesn't matter how talented your people are, melting. That water's coming down. That water's coming out.
Yeah, I love it.
But if we have a strong context, right, it doesn't matter how hot this thing gets underneath there. Yeah, there may be some boiling inside. Yeah, but it's going to hold its shape. Yes. This is your mission. Right. This is your context. That code of honor is your context. That's the culture. Everybody talks about culture. But culture becomes a very it's a nice word. It's the check the box. We worked on culture. But what does that actually mean? It's how we play the game. How we play the game. And it's predetermined. It's well clear. And everyone who's playing the game is well thought, trained, and become skilled by experience because they're receiving the coaching, the support, the ongoing coaching and support. Yes. In school of thought to be in that context. And it self-polices. It's not about one person or, managers policing it. When the whole team understands that this is why we do this, this is the way we play this game, and this is why we do it this way. The reason why this is on our why mission team individual. We understand why. Never abandon a teammate in need. We know why it's on there. It's not just a thing, because a lot of times companies have core values. Right. Respect. Well, respect means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So you need to define that. This is how you live out your core values. So you can have your core values. This is how you live out your core values, practically speaking. Yeah. So when everybody understands why those things are important and how it benefits everyone, now you have somebody who maybe there's some gossip going on in the I don't know, like the break room or whatever, and somebody hears that and they truly are committed as a team to this, maybe even sign their name on it. Okay. And they say, yeah, this is what we're committed to because this is what it takes for us all to be successful and thrive and prosper together. They may go to that person and say, hey, I heard you were talking about so-and-so. Or somebody comes and goes, did you hear? He's going, what? Time on. You know what? We agreed that we don't do that. Right. Because you know the consequence of that. You know the impact of that. That's right. Oh, wait a second. You're coming to me with this complaint about so-and-so. I'm not the one who can do anything about it. Why don't you? One of the things that, oftentimes we put on the code of honor is dealing direct. So if I have a problem with someone, I'm not going to this person that can't do anything about it. It's a 225 principle. I'm going to this person and saying, here, this is the person that can do something about it. That's who I'm dealing with. Right. And so you get people to understand, you have your team understand, and you reinforce it. It's not just something that's on a wall in a lobby.
In a handbook.
It's not in a handbook somewhere. It is something that that's being reinforced all the time.
Exactly.
And you acknowledge the behavior you want more of. So you're acknowledging where people are doing that well. Maybe you even award people and acknowledge how people are stepping up. So how they're demonstrating that. Never abandon a teammate in need. What does that mean? Wow, you know what? Dr. Alisa, she just really stepped up for so-and-so in that time of need. You know, thank you for that.
Can shout, the person who received it, she stepped up for me. It's a shout out. Send a blast.
Exactly. Yeah. So then when the heat comes on the business, whatever that is, challenges in the business, it's going to stay intact and people are going to stand together.
And I love it. And there's accountability there because then if a senior manager, like,
it goes both ways, by the way.
Hey, Nicole, you're the CEO. I'm just a middle manager. Oh, Nicole, can you go tell her to tell her? It's like, but you know what, Nicole, when that break our code of honor when it relates to this, and you're like, oh, you know what? Good thinking. I'm glad you caught that. Okay, well, let's do it differently.
Yeah.
Let's get her in the room. And no. People are comfortable.
Yes, there's the freedom.
Support each other, not correct, but support each other.
Because we're all in this together.
To keep the code of honor.
Yes. So when I was working with Blair, there was a time where I was trying to reach him. One of the things that we had in our code of honor was respond to all requests within 24 hours. And he travels a lot. So he's going to Singapore, and all the different things. And so it had been, I knew he was traveling. But it hadn't been 24 hours or 48 hours. It was like, and there was a few times where I was like, the first time I went, okay, he's traveling. Second time I'm like, so I messaged him, right? And I said, hey, Blair, we agreed that we respond to all requests within 24 hours. And I haven't heard from you and it's been like 5 days. What the heck? And he was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I apologize. Whatever. We dealt with it and moved on. There's a permission that I had to do that. And for me not to do that means I'm actually violating the code of honor because I'm not protecting it. So we all protect it.
So we both become violators.
Yeah, because I'm allowing it.
And you're aware of it, but did not have a conversation about the experience and awareness.
Yeah.
To bring, that is a mic drop. That is a mic drop.
It's so powerful. It's so powerful. Now, organizations generally don't want to do that. And when you have 5,000 people, you're like, how do I possibly put this in place? Well, you need to establish it. It starts at the top. And you need to establish that and start working that through your organization. I had a gentleman a number of years ago. He said to me, well, I want to work with middle managers and at some point work up to the top. And I went, it's not going to work that way. You can't do that because if they don't see it from the top down being demonstrated, it's going to fall on its face. It's
almost obsolete. Yeah.
You're wasting your time. Yeah.
Question I have for you.
Yes.
If you are an entrepreneur, and you may not have employees, you might have contracted people here and there, but also you have business partnerships. Should you have code of honors that are clearly discussed and agreed upon with those contracted employees that you have from time to time, and also your business partners?
Well, how important are they to you? Right?
Exactly.
Like it's a team, whether they are,
occasional
employed. That's your team. If that's your team, right? I mean, I have people that like do my video record, editing or whatever. I've got people on Upwork or whatever that do things. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But they're still part of my team and I'm still looking for certain qualities in them, right? To work with me because then they don't do it's again, those expectations.
Right.
So here we have an understanding that they're going to do it on this sequence. And if, let's say they don't show up, or they're late on getting me what I need at a certain time, that's a breakdown, right? And that's not a high performing team. So again, we're talking about high performing teams. You want an average team, you just want to make it by, go do what you're going to do. But seriously, if you want a high performing team, a team that works well together and respects each other and values each other, then yes, you will. And I just let people know. And I just said, like, for example, with my coaching company right now, I don't have coaches currently. I've got a few that are going to be coming on board, but right now I currently don't. A few years ago, I had a bunch of coaches. And I had this gentleman who wanted to be on the team. Yeah. And I talked to one of the other coaches who was actually working to being partner with me. And so I'm having a free conversation saying, hey, what do you think? Right. He knows him. And I was like, what do you think about so-and-so join the team? I'm like, I want your input. I need that outside perspective, right? Or additional perspective viewpoint on it. And he said, well, the only thing that concerns me is that, we're coaching high-level executives and entrepreneurs, and we talk about personal development and all of those things, and he's not really operating in that space to the extent where he was, and there's no disrespect to anybody that, but he was like out of shape, overweight, wasn't taking care of himself, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. How is he going to represent the team and the brand? And I said, you're absolutely right. That was my concern as well. And I just wanted a perspective to say, hey, because you're going to be I saw him as a partner. And so, I can be respectful in saying, I just don't think this is the right team, right? It's not the right fit at this time.
At this time.
And so you got to sometimes have those courageous conversations. Now, I didn't say it was, you're overweight or whatever. It's just like, because we're operating at this level, and it would require you, if you want to get to this level, this is what it takes. Just like with that other gentleman, I said, this is what it takes.
We're not ready. Yeah.
And he stepped up, and now, right. So I think that's, it's challenging to have those conversations, but the biggest thing is we got to start with a code of honor with ourselves. Again, it comes back to that person,
and then your personal relationships.
Then you can say to somebody else, if I don't keep my own code of honor, how am I possibly going to have that conversation with someone else?
That's right.
And have it be with compassion and with empathy and respect, but honestly, right? Just being honest with that person and saying, hey, I don't think there's a right fit with that business strategic alliance partner. I want to know. I may not say, hey, you got to follow my, code of honor, but I want to know what theirs is. And I will ask them key questions. How do you make decisions? How do you do this? What about this? What about this? This is what, okay, great. Because that's what's important to me. These things are important. There's other things, whatever, not so, but there's some non-negotiables. That code of honor isn't a long list, by the way. It is a short list so people can remember it. It is a short, concise list of the non-negotiables.
Yes.
I did this with a general contractor and his team. And it was funny because one of the things they actually committed to doing, and it was their choice to do this, is that they would not swear or have any foul language on the job site.
Right.
Now you get a bunch of construction guys and you try to get the,
my gosh.
They said, this is what we're committed to.
Yes.
And so they call each other out on it. But what happened in the process of that is that their clients started to say, wow, you know what? When you guys come, I just feel more comfortable and safe. I don't have to hear all that or the lewd jokes and all this stuff. And so they gained a lot of respect.
Yes. Oh my God.
Within their client
and they realized
base.
and that's the thing about the construction industry. They keep saying that, this is how it is. I'm like, but it doesn't have to be that way. When you want to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, that's really quick way to do it. He actually, the owner, as he would go and he would meet with clients, we brought a binder
he set this up, right? So he has a system and everything. And he would bring this binder. And in the beginning, he would say, and this is our code of honor, and this is what we agreed to as a team and whatever. And they're like, wow, just set himself apart than all the other contractors, even in proposing the deal, right? They're like, wow, this is what I'm signing on to. Okay. Rather than, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're across the globe for Mindset Mastery 360, the global movement that we have. And we used the 4 agreements. It was so easy.
Yes.
Then they can just read the book. But I explained it both in writing and in video format because, we're all over the globe. We're from different countries, different time zones. So we centralized our onboarding, but everybody understands it. And so I was talking with a junior leader in the movement, and we were talking about something that popped up with another member. And he says, well, Dr. Alisa, in any case, I feel like it was dealt with the right way because he broke our agreements. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. Because he was telling me, I don't know why you're worrying about the action that was taken by you. Because, I don't want to be too harsh, but I have to. But I always ask my team members, how did you think I dealt with it? I want feedback because I might have done some really great things, which I want to know from outside my own perspective. I know what I've done, and I might have done something that is not so great that I can improve on for the next time.
Yes.
So I always ask for feedback, and he was like, oh, I felt like you dealt with it. And he was very articulate, very young, but articulate, give great feedback, felt I handled it directly because in any case, it goes back to our agreements that we each sign when we do this movement. So it's unfortunate, but it's part of it.
You can do it
blessed to go and be them.
And you can do it with respect and honor. And there's a way to do it. You don't do it in front of an audience. It's a one-on-one conversation, that you say, hey, you know what? Like whatever you need to deal with, but you can still respect the person. But that's the beautiful thing is that the code of honor actually polices itself.
Right.
So they understand it and saying, look, just like Blair saying to me, look, we'd love to have you part of this team. And this is our code of honor.
Yes.
And either you're going to, be comfortable with this and agree to this, or you're not. And it's okay either way.
Absolutely.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But it's your choice. And so if somebody is breaking that code and they don't want to rectify it, right? Or they don't see a way to, like, depending on what it is, and obviously, but, even so, like, there are some people that have made big mistakes. Are they repentant? Do they want to fix it? Are they willing and committed to resolving it?
Mm-hmm.
There's a book, and I know, we probably need to wrap up soon, but there's a great book, which I haven't heard this taught in this way anywhere else. It's called Unpunishable by Danny Silk.
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
He starts off by talking, and actually I was up in Northern California, which is where he is, prior to this, and I was like, wait a second, I recognize that name. He used the guy's name. It's not a fake name. It was a real name.
Unpunishable Silk.
It's called Unpunishable by Danny Silk. And he talks about this. He works in the context of a church, and he does couples counseling and stuff, but he works in the context of this church as well. And at this church, big church, there was a pastor who they had students coming from international students and coming to their school, and it stayed with them. And he had relations with this student in his house. He's married and kids and everything. And he's having, so they starts off with the husband and wife in his office and talking through, like, what are we going to do about this? Right. Now, in most churches, and he was a pastor, he would never pastor again in any church.
Right.
But he said, and that's one thing that's one option. Right. But what I wanted to hear from him was his repentance
Right.
What was his commitment to change? What was his commitment to rectifying the hurt and changing his actions? And so yes, he was removed from a place of pastoral leadership.
Right.
And he was given the opportunity to heal some of those relationships. So it turned out, because it's a large church, he had to publicly let people know that this has happened, apologize, and invite anybody who, and this is just one example, I'm not saying this is like a formula, but it's just the principle of it is to invite anyone who had an issue, any other students that might have had an issue with him or broken trust with him, that would need to sit, that wanted to sit with him. So he did over 100 one-on-ones with people over a period of time. And then, of course, he had to demonstrate his change and all that stuff, to the point where he could be invited back into a position of leadership, and it's starting right and working his way back up. And of course, then there was the healing with him and his wife and all of that. But what he talks about in that book is he talks about the idea that we lean into this punishment, that we want people to be punished. And it's really what we've been talking about is the reason why we want somebody to feel like they ought to be punished for that. And we deal with them cruelly is because somewhere in us, we have been punished, or we are punishing ourselves, or we feel we deserve to be punished. And we're projecting it onto that person.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so it's just it was really interesting perspective on this culture of punishment that we need to, like this, and how our heart posture and where we are with that. So
heart posture.
Yeah. So it's learning how to deliver, even if there is there's a consequence, but you can love the person and not love the behavior. Just like I talked to you about my husband. It's like, I can love him and not be okay with behavior.
Separate the two. They're not. You can
separate the two. There's a gentleman
comes wrapped in a package together, but you still open it up, and it's two. Like, I got my phone and my phone case. They go together.
Yes,
but they're not the same. They don't function
not the same
the
thing.
Same.
Yeah. And there's a gentleman I had on my show a couple of times, and I heard him speak 25 years ago, 30 years ago, Dan Tacchini, and excellent, brilliant, transformational leader, just fantastic. And I had him twice on my show last year. And he had this thing that he said 25 years ago. I still remember it. And he said, be soft on the person, hard on the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we can learn how to do that as leaders, we also help create a safe place for people to fail.
Yes.
To make mistakes.
Right.
It's like the lesson, I forget what book it was in. It's been told many times, but it was in this original story. There was this company, and this salesperson had made this major mistake and cost the company, and this is years ago, cost the company $2 million, which is a lot today. It was a lot more back then in value. And so he calls him into his office, and he says, the guy the salesperson says to him, I know you're going to fire me. And so I just want to say, I apologize. I didn't mean to do it. And he goes, why would I fire you? And he said, well, I just cost the company $2 million and blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, I just paid $2 million for you to get trained. You think I'm going to let you walk out this door and take that training somewhere else?
That would be
You're going to stick around. I know you learned that lesson, and you're not going to be doing that again.
Right. Wow. You see that?
Interesting perspective.
Content and context there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. You have poured so well for us. What? I enjoy listening. I listen to our episodes. It's like, sometimes I just can't wait for it to come out. I love this and I know our community is going to just feast on it. Oh my goodness. Let's flip the script with Nicole Jansen really quick, because you've poured so much. I'm not even going to ask you how your mindset flipped, because we've gotten that all.
I was going to say we covered that.
So if you can just tell us, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is living your best life, being the best version of yourself. And just like that identity piece, right? It comes back to that. It's being who you are created to be. And when you are being who you're created to be, then you're stepping into all of that, what that means, and living that out. You're going to live your best life. So to me, that's success.
Right. Oh, I love it. What is in the back, it says known, chosen, worthy, loved, enough. What does worthy mean?
Worthy is just being worthy of love. Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's like our worthiness comes from within. We were talking about that, right? Yeah. I am worthy simply because I am. Simply because I am. It's like, I think about, I wrote an article about this. A baby doesn't need to prove hopefully doesn't need to prove their worthiness. Okay. They come out of the womb and we just like, oh, they're so cute. And we just love them, right? Hopefully. And so, because they didn't have to earn it. I don't have to earn. It's like I say, God says to us, he says, and I remind people of this, is saying, look, there's nothing you can do to make him love you anymore. And there's nothing you can do to make him love you any less. You are loved simply because you are. You are worthy simply because you are. Your identity, your confidence, your worth does not come from out there. It comes from within here. And the reason why I have this is because I saw it, and my husband actually said to me at one point, he's like, it's kind of, like setting up the backdrop for Zooms and everything. He's like, it's maybe it's too busy, it's too noisy. And I was like, no, I want every single client, I want every single person to see that and to say, you are known, you are chosen, you are worthy, you are loved, you are enough. And besides that, I get to see it every time because I can see it on the camera as well. So it's a reminder. My office with so many words, and like today I had this moment where I was just reading it to myself, and I created a whole sequence of story because they're frames like this one, and they're frames, and I just created, and because of that, then you do, and someone was like, who are you talking to? I'm like, myself. Rewriting the script of my mindset right now from this gift of the words that has been on this wall, because it blesses so many people, but there are times I have to tap in to what it means. And it's just meant different things at different times that I tapped in. So I loved it. And I thought, let's hear what that is. And so we're now at Mindset Bites to go, where I give you 90 seconds or less, if that's what you'd like. And sometimes even a little bit more, to talk to our listeners and viewers as if it was your last message to the world. What would you say? I step away from the camera and the microphone and you rip with it. Oh, you know what? Honestly, I think we've already talked about it. I would say is that you love yourself first. Don't wait for somebody else to love you. Don't wait for somebody else to approve of you, somebody to give you your value. Give it to yourself. And one of the things that I've encouraged clients to do is to look in the mirror at yourself and say, I love you. I am proud of you. I am pleased with you. Tell yourself what you have always wanted to hear from someone else. Be the one to tell yourself that. Don't wait for somebody else. And just, and know that you are enough. You are enough. You have everything you need to be hugely successful, a huge contributor in the world. You already have it within you. You just need to allow yourself to bring it out. That's what I would say. Awesome. We love when those powerful words come into us, and it just balances and closes out every wonderful thing that we have learned from you. And we definitely got content to content. So before we go, tell us, how do we connect with you, and how does what you do, what do you want to leave with us? If there's any free gifts or even anything that you're doing right now that you'd love for us to be a part of, we would love to know. Yeah, thank you. Well, my website is leadersatransformation.com, and that is where I have 500 episodes, right? So there's like 520 episodes, I think it is, now by the time of this release. But yeah, there's so much content there. That's 500 plus guests that I've had on the show. And so as far as free gifts, there's lots of free content there.
Yes.
And I'm also in the process of launching a faith-based platform for faith-based entrepreneurs. And so that is going to be releasing like literally as, over these next few days. I'll be announcing that to a soft launch, and then it'll be publicly launched in the new year. And so if anybody wants to learn about that, leadersatransformation.com is going to be the website where that's going to be available there. So yeah. And if anybody you're amazing, Dr. Alisa, you're amazing. You and I do a lot of the same things. Yes. And I would just send them back to you and say, go talk. If you have a question, if you have something about this that we've unpacked here that you're still like, well, what do I do with this? Or how do I apply this to my life? I'm going to actually direct you back to Dr. Alisa. I'm certainly here as well. You can reach out to me.
Of course.
But you know what? You've got this amazing powerhouse woman that will serve you well. And she's got her school and academy and her movement. Get more connected in that. Take advantage, because what I find a lot of times people are looking again elsewhere for answers, when a lot of times the answer is right in front of you. It's already there. Just apply it. So I would encourage you to do that. And if there's anything else that I can do on top of, separate from what she does, then I'd be happy to have a conversation around that.
Absolutely. Because I will definitely be tapping in for my own self. I love the connection and the growth that I've experienced with you. So would love to do it, not just a podcast, but to be around in your work. So I'd love to know when the soft launch is. So I'll be tapping in on the website. And of course, you all know the link and all the connections for Nicole is going to be in the description wherever you're watching and listening to this podcast. Nicole, you have been so amazing. 2-part episode. I love when that happens. That tells you the conversation got really good. The lessons were down, and I don't stop the flow. For me, what God is doing in the moment, I go with it, and I grow with it as well. I go with it and I grow with it.
Love that.
We all get to glow with it. So thank you so much for being here and imparting so much wisdom on transformational leadership, from the individual to the relationship. I would say to the bedroom, to the kitchen, and to the boardroom.
There you go.
You have brought us full circle, and that's exactly what our podcast is about. And mindset is the key for your success, your business, in your life, your business, and your career. So we've done it all with you today. And one of my favorite subjects is leadership, transformational leadership, and it starts with you. And so listen, disruptors, tune in, tap in for extra full-time resource on transformational leadership with Nicole. She's so kind, but it's also about the fact that her work has been a blessing to our platform. So we want to reach out to her on social media and LinkedIn or wherever you find her. Let her know you heard this episode and go listen to her episodes, because I will too. All the individuals that I have these enriched conversation with, I subscribe to their podcast and I listen and I download, and it's part of my arsenal, because that's why our paths cross, so we can grow together. So until next time, love, light, peace, and blessing. Remember, your mindset is the key to your success. Go ahead and keep upgrading your operational mindset system. Until next time, I'm Dr. Alisa saying, see you later with Nicole.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Y'all have a great time. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.